Alright, so it is now time to do a layered bob for maximum volume and fullness. So, what we're going to do is we're going to start off by cutting in the outline, basically the new length of the haircut. So we're going to bring the length up a little bit, and then once the length has been completed, we will then go through and layer the hair so that the hair looks nice and full and thick. So, the very first thing you can see is I'm establishing the guide for the rest of the outline. I've got my very first section combed down. Got a center section down the middle of the back with two A-line sections clipped away, and whatever's coming down is what I'm combing down, and basically cutting that new desired length that we're going for. So, once I've completed cutting the length, then at that point we will dive into the layering, go ahead and blow dry it, and then you'll see how full and thick we're going to make the hair look with all of the body from the layering. Alright, so now that I have finished that very first section, it is now time to take my next section. I'm combing that hair straight down, and now that I've cut one section, I can use that previous section as my guide to cut the next section. So, combing this hair, this next section down, I can see the guide underneath, that's the previous section that I already cut, to know how short to cut the current section, and I'm going to basically do that throughout the rest of the haircut. Alright, so now that the outline is all cut on the left side, you can see I'm going to do the exact same thing here on the right side. So, combing the hair down, combing it to the previous section so I can see where that previous section lays to know how short to cut this section. So, once I've completed cutting the right side, then I'll have completed cutting the outline, at which point we'll dive into the layering. Alright, so now that we've completed cutting the outline, it is time to start the layering. I've got a center section in the middle of the back. I'm combing it straight back, and right there, boom, I'm cutting in those layers. Now, those layers are going to be the guide for the rest of the layering for the rest of the haircut. I'm taking a section to the left of that, over-directing that section to that very first section, which is the previous section. It just happens to be the first section. And that's important because we don't over-direct every section to the first section. We only over-direct it to the previous section to know how short to cut the section that we're cutting, the current section that we're cutting. So, in this particular haircut at least. Now, you can see I'm taking another section, and I'm combing that to the previous section. Again, key, I'm not taking it all the way back to the first section, very important key there, just taking it back to the previous section so I know how short to cut this current section. Now, once I've completed the layering on the left side, we will then do the layering on the right side. Alright, so now I am taking a section on the right side, over-directing that to the first section, the middle section, which is the previous section to this section, and I'm cutting the layers to the same length as that very first section. Okay, now I'm going to take another section right here, and this section I'm only going to over-direct to the previous section. Again, not to the very first section because that would be over-directing too far. So, once I've completed the layering, we'll go ahead and blow dry the hair, and then you will see the end result. Alright, so we've come to the end of another haircut. Now, you can see how full, thick, how much body, fullness, and volume the layers give this haircut. Check it out. As I turn my model around, you can see all the body, the fullness that the layering gives this bob. Now, if you have a classic bob, classic bob is going to be a little bit heavier. You're still going to be able to get body into a bob because a bob is typically a shorter haircut, meaning it's above the shoulders. Once you get below the shoulders, it's not really a bob anymore. So anything above the shoulders is going to be, more of a shorter haircut. But once you go through and layer it, that's where you're going to start to see the fullness and the body and the volume. All right, I hope you guys enjoyed this haircut. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to put any comments or questions down in the comment section below. Also, don't forget to subscribe to this channel. As always, guys, I want to thank you so very much again for watching.